Multi-exclusive dimensional being Kai with another exclusive. Today's video is going to be about how to properly sun gaze, because I be peeping a lot of people's videos as far as sun gazing when they explain semen retention and the benefits, because the sun is basically your physical representation. It's how others see you through the conversations, through interactions, and throughout your physical body. And of course, the physical body is dealing with number 3, which is your body. Your soul is basically your subconscious. That's dealing with the waters, that's dealing with the fluids, that's dealing with the feelings and emotions. And of course, your spirit is your space, which basically your spirit created your soul, and your soul controls your body. But the spirit is controlling everything. Without the spirit, which was first, which was your space, which was the 0, what came second was basically your soul, which is the time and the experience. Third came the death, rebirth, transformation stage. So third, this is the death stage. First is basically dealing with birth. The second is dealing with the life. Third is dealing with the death. Because after this, you repeat the whole process again. You basically get rebirthed into another realm of reality, which is dealing with the 4th dimension. And after that, you basically become an idea concept, being initiated and created, and you shout out through the sperm, your father's sperm, which you pick a body, which you're fighting for space and fighting for unity, be able to create and subject yourself into a new domain, into a new outlook. That's why what you're doing now is very important, because when you do go to the next life, if you ain't taking care of responsibilities and duties and obligations, which you need to do on this day-to-day basis, if you're not basically taking care of that, what's going to happen is you're going to be carrying all those parasites, all that dead weight with you. It's going to basically come into your location, your space. It's going to initiate and create all kind of bodies to be able to inhabit through you. So that's why it's very important to make sure you take care of what you need to take care of in this domain. This way you can go in there with more clarity, more clairvoyant. It's another reason why we're going to get into the sun gazing, because it's very important to sun gaze. For me, like, at the end of the day, the sun ain't just out there shining for you to basically see with these 2 eyes on what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. The sun is your physical representation. Without the sun, this body is depleted. Feel me? And you need to understand that. Without the sun, you're only going to remain in the yin. So the yang is dealing with the sun aspect. Now, don't listen to this is a disclaimer. Do not listen to anybody that's telling you to sun gaze with your eyes open. That's rule number 1. That's the first void. Because what you're doing is you have your eyes open. Now, take this into consideration on a smaller object. If you go on to sleep and somebody's trying to light in your face when you're trying to go to sleep, it's going to be very, very discomfortable. You're not going to be comfortable. That's opposing energy. And how are you supposed to be in a good vibration if somebody just shining something on your face? That's basically, you're rejecting the whole point of view, the whole aspect of receiving. So the point is the opposite now. Because look, the moon, you can look at the moon, because basically you're seeing it on this outer aspect. Feel me? It's basically the opposite. Because the moon is dealing with your feelings and your emotions, your inner. But you can see that. You can look at that. That's the only star that you need to be looking at as far as through the nighttime. And it's supposed to be the opposite, because your outer is basically a reflection of your inner. So when you are looking at the sun, you're supposed to look at it with your eyes closed. Feel me? You're supposed to close these eyes because you're going inside. The whole point of receiving the information is basically to receive it when your eyes is closed. This way it can basically go right through you. This way you won't have no resistance. You won't get met with resistance down the line. You won't be tangling with your eyes. You won't be going through circumstances and situations and shit when you're dealing with your eyes and shit. This way, when your eyes is closed, the sun is basically hitting you. Feel me? And that's the whole point of the sun gazing aspect. So if somebody telling you to go out there to sun gaze with your eyes open, turn that shit off. They don't know what the hell they talking about. and they're gonna fucking blindside you, and they're gonna slide your eyes, and you're gonna basically be blind. And there's cures to make sure you heal that shit, but you don't want to put yourself in a circumstance situation of basically doing things backwards. That's like living backwards. Even Google tells you to sun gaze with your eyes open, which you should not basically be doing. Listen, all you really have to do is just sun gaze. Go outside, close your eyes, and tap in. Do your daily 360. Know where the sun is located. Now, basically, when we're dealing with the time and location, when you are channeling, you need to know what kind of energies you're channeling as far as what you want to initiate and create. So from 6 a.m., which the sun rises on this hemisphere on the east. So 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. will be Sun in Cancer. Then from 8, so basically you'll be channeling the I care energy, the feelings and emotions, the intuitions, the home and security. For me, that's a good time. That's the time you're supposed to be home during those hours, so you can have comfortability. Now, when we're talking 8 to 9, this is basically the Sun in Leo, so you'll be channeling the fire aspect, which is fixated in its own ways, the stubbornness, the Leo's representations, the center of attention, the expressions, the romance, the love, the childlike energies, the lion. For me, you'll be channeling that energy. The ego. That's 5th. Everybody got Leo energy in them. Feel me? I don't want to hear that, oh, it's childish, yada, yada, bullshit. Everybody got that Leo energy in them in some way, shape, or form, whether they choose to now, if they got a Saturn in that chart, then they're not going to choose to express it. They might express it in their own unique, sidereal way. But we all got that aspect. Now, when we talking 10 to 11, that'll be Virgo. 12 to 1, that'll be Libra. 2 to 3, that'll be Scorpio. 4 to 5, that'll be Sagittarius. 6 to 7, that'll be Capricorn. 7 to 8, that'll be Aquarius. 9 to 10, that'll be Pisces. And so on and so on. When they go back to Aries, and then go back to Taurus, and then go back to Gemini, and then we back to 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. again when we dealing with this rising. So when you are sun gazing, do not have anything on your mind. That's the second void. Because they tell you that you're supposed to, I mean, we're going to get there. But the whole point is to clear your mind. Clear that shit out. Think about it like this. How the hell are you going to bring in new information knowing it's a new day when you got too much shit all over the place? That's like you trying to bring a new bedroom in here and you got the old bedroom in here. How the fuck you going to bring the new bedroom in here and initiate and create and set things up and set up shop if you got the old bedroom in here? The whole point is to get all that shit out, clear all that shit out, get it all out. This way you can have a clean room. That's why it's good to have a clean room too, clean house. This way you'll be able to receive more. Because the more shit you got on your brain, as far as negative shit, the less of the shit that you'll be able to receive. So now when we dealing with this whole channel of the sun, this is going to put you in a vibration of receiving energy, receiving information, receiving insight, receiving influences, tapping in, physical representations, expressions, shapes and form, materialistic things, nature, structures, boundaries. Feel me? That's dealing with all the earth elements, structure, Saturn, limitations, restrictions, dominance, force, gifts, talents, money, expression, value, currency, buildings. That's what you're going to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis as far as how much time and energy you put into the sun. Because look at it like this. Sun is always in the sky. Now, if you're paying attention to so much shit and you're not channeling the stars or the energies or harnessing shit, your shit going to be void as far as what you need to know and what you need to learn on this planet Earth. And if you're not channeling shit, you're not tapping into the energies and you're not using the energies, what's going to happen is your shit going to be void. Somebody going to use it against you and you're not going to be consciously aware of nothing. For me, you're not going to have no awareness. You're not going to be alerted, nothing. You're just going to be out of place. For me, you're not going to have no imagination, no brain. And now when you do have clairvoyance, when you do meditate, the whole purpose now, after you have a good clarity of 30 minutes or so, now you can start, now you're going to basically tap yourself into a clairvoyant space. When you tap yourself into this clairvoyant space, you will basically be aware of the birds chirping. You'll basically be aware about the breeze shifting. It'll basically tap you into another conscious. as far as like going to another level. And when I mean by that, I'm talking about uplifting you. You're gonna feel a consciousness. You're gonna feel a awakening consciousness on a conscious level. You're gonna feel it. Feel me? Because it's gonna grasp through you. And everybody got their own way of feeling, and everybody got their own way of expression. But you're gonna feel it. You're gonna tap into this realm. Now, once you get to there, you're gonna start receiving thoughts and ideas. You're gonna start receiving visions. And of course, what color is the sun? Yellow. So that's dealing with gold. That's dealing with also red. That's passion, desire. That's also dealing with growth, insight, spiritual growth, abundance, wealth, health, physical representations. Now, when you channel those energies and you know about those elements as far as what you're channeling, and also Leo is basically what you're going to be channeling as far as the fifth house energy. And the fifth house is basically expression. That's your soul. That's your second. That's basically the soul dealing with the is basically controlling and governing the third place. So when you do that, when you're tapping in, when you're sun gazing, and you can start coming up with ideas and concepts as far as what you want to manifest, as far as what you want to bring into existence. And the longer you do this, the more time you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. And of course, the more you're focused, the more you're initiating and creating and pushing out, the more you're going to receive. The more you're channeling, the more you're going to receive. And the more you receive, the higher you go. And the higher you go, the higher you go, the more you receive on a big aspect. So that's what it's all about. Life ain't hard. It's what you're making. It's all about the programs and shit that stop you from doing this shit. Now think about this. When you was a child, what did you do? You go to school, you did homework, you was governed by another spirit in the body just like you, to basically want to control you and manifest what it want to do as far as what it want to basically bring into existence on a note. And what they was doing, they was channeling the sun, they was channeling the moon. So that's the whole purpose of basically breaking the generational curse. This way, when you go to your next life and when you expand and grow, which is Jupiter, which is 9, which is a completion, which is all we got is 9 numbers. And then when you take 19 again, because when you go from 9, you go to 10, but 10 is just basically 1 with more space. Then you go to 11, that's duality. 13 would basically be 3. 14 would basically be 5. 15 would basically be 6. 17 would basically be 8. 19 would be basically 20 again. That's more space. That goes to show we only got 9 numbers, so it's just more space. A 0 is just more space, more spirit, more upside, more up north, northern. So when you understand and understand that shit, it'll take you places, and places where you need to go. Feel me? And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of basically getting from point A to point B to point C. Feel me? And when you are tapping into these natures, when you are tapping into this knowledge and wisdom, that's what you're going to receive. You're going to receive all the information, all the benefits, to the point where you don't even have to go to school. You don't even have to do all this shit your whole life. All the information that they was teaching you, you can be the teacher. You can take over the shit. You can ask and question, yo, what are you doing, teacher? Scoot to the side, I'll teach the class. Now, when you doing this, when you being a leader, when you actually channeling real shit and not just looking at books and being too logic about shit, which is left brain, which is too logical, that's a demon, that's a physical representation, that's a too logical, too rational. When you too logic and shit, you just leave out this part of the body, which is basically the right brain, which is esoteric, things you can't see, things you can't understand or initiate and create once you actually tap into these natures. And once you tap into that shit, boom, you're bringing the two together. Now, basically, this comes first, this comes second. Earth rotates right, and basically, rotating left is basically getting left field. Rotating right is getting righteousness. Going up is filling up. Going down is filling down. So basically, once you know these elements and steps, you'll get it. And that's basically all you need to do in life. And whatever you want to manifest, as far as a car, house, or anything, a purpose, or whatever you want, like your personal goals or your desires, your body, or whatever you want to manifest, it's all in the stars. Nobody tell you to have to, like, all you need is imagination. When you lack imagination, you don't really get things, you don't get places in life. The imagination, the memory, the idea, the concept created you. Now, who the fuck said you had to work a 9 to 5 to basically do that shit? Because clearly you wasn't this body previously, and you ain't gonna be this body when you leave it. So think about it. Your spirit was already doing this shit, but once you got caught into programs and intellectual other shit, it harnessed you and put you in a box and squared you. But I'm here now, and I love y'all, and it's time to rise up. Feel me? We in new time, new ages, and we gonna get right.